Okay, example 5 asks us to simplify the following expressions. So our first expression says the square root of 21 times the square root of 6. So we really just need to put these together or break them down to start and see what kind of common terms that we can see inside of them. Um, you could, for instance, multiply both of those together, and that would make the square root of 126. Um, or you could start off and say, okay, well, the square root of 21 is the same thing as the square root of 3 times the square root of 7, and then you multiply that by the square root of 3 times the square root of 2, which is the same thing as, um, same thing as 6. Now, advantages and disadvantages to each. This one is a little bit longer to write out at first. You got to do a little bit more thinking. But now you can see that, you have a square root of 3, a square root of 3. They will multiply together. The exponents add, and they make 3. And then you have the square root of 7 and the square root of 2 would make the square root of 14, which you can't reduce, so you're kind of stuck there. That'll kind of give you a hint here as to what to do. 126 is not a number you use very often, so it's hard to determine if there's a square inside of it or not. You can check 4 isn't inside of it. So the next one would be 9. You would have to try to divide it by 9. You would, in fact, be able to do that and get it into 14, so you would know that this is the square root of 9 times the square root of 14, and so you'd get 3 times the square root of 14. I think it's a little more manageable to break it up at first than to assume that you're going to know and identify the squares inside. That gets kind of difficult. But anyway, the answer at the end of the day is 3 times the square root of 14. The second part is, what if you have 5 plus 3 times the square root of 2 times 7 minus the square root of 2? Again, we can think about it in two ways. You can use either the FOIL method, or you can use our box method. Either way works just fine. So the FOIL method, basically, it is the same thing as the box. It's just if you can get the order down and never forget to do it, the box is not 100% necessary. It may help you though. So F stands for first, so we do 5 times 7, which is 35. The outside is the outside term, so this would be 5 times negative square root of 2, which makes negative 5 square root of 2. Always write the integer out front and the square root on the back. It's just cleaner that way. I stands for inside, so we have 7 times 3 times the square root of 2, which is plus 21 square root of 2. And then you have at the very end a positive 3, or the last, a positive 3 square root of 2 minus the square root of 2. So we're going to have a minus overall. We have the 3. The square roots of 2 multiply together to make 2, so you get minus 6. So overall, once you simplify this, you'll get 29. And then here, if we have negative 5 of something and add 21, we add 16 of it. And so that would be your final answer. Now, if you did this by the box method, you would have 5 positive 3 square root of 2. You have 7 minus the square root of 2. And so you would fill in your box the same way. And this would become 6. And so you could have all of these, minus. You'd have all of these same terms, you just need to go put them together in a different way. So if you like the box, please use it. If you would like to use FOIL, use that. Just know that they're the same thing, and that it is required to do this problem.